The topic for today is reincarnation. So, what are your views on reincarnation?
Well, reincarnation, in one word, in my opinion, boils down to belief. What you believe or you don't believe in your own mind. Because there is no substantial proof either way, whether there is reincarnation or whether there is not. Having said that, it's an Eastern philosophy present in India, Japan, China, the Buddhists, which go right from India, Nepal, right up to China, Japan, who strongly believe in reincarnation, along with Jains, Sikhs. The Muslims don't and the Christians don't believe in reincarnation. Now, where did this come from? As a young child, you inculcate the belief and value system of your surroundings, of your family. And if they believe in reincarnation and in karma, then you believe in that as a child. It's only when you grow older can you evaluate it or reevaluate it and find a point of view of which will drive you further in that thought process. Now, let's look at reincarnation. Reincarnation of the soul, because the Hindus believe that the soul doesn't die. So if the soul doesn't die, can it reincarnate? Because it's already alive. How can it reincarnate if it's already alive? But then we are told that it actually takes or assumes the body of another person. When we are told that someone died today and another person is born the same day. But to be born, you got to remain in your mother's womb for 9 months. And during that time, the heart is also beating. That means the child is alive. So what happened to that soul? Was that soul replaced by someone else's soul and born as another person? So it's slightly debatable. Uh, I mean, if you look at a tree, a fruit tree, a mango tree, or another fruit, or a vegetable plant, or whatever, if you put that seed or the seed of a mango in the ground, it can only be grown again as a mango. It can't be grown again as a apple, or vice versa, or a papaya. Mango will only grow as a mango. Papaya will only regrow as a papaya. So if the human soul is live or alive, never not dead, how can it be reincarnated in the shape of an animal? Animal has soul. Let's assume the animal has soul. But the animal soul is behind in growth, in maturity than a human being. So how can the human soul, if it's alive, let's assume it's alive, get into an animal? So these are inconsistencies. Buddhists strongly believe in reincarnation, but they don't believe in the soul being carried form in a human form. The Buddhists say, as far as I know, they use the word rebirth as opposed to reincarnation. And you can be born again as a human or as an animal, depending on your karma or the deeds that you might have performed. So, it's what's the difference between rebirth and reincarnation? When I was a child, I was also told that if you don't do things correctly, if your karma is bad, you can be reborn as an animal. But then, what's the difference between rebirth and reincarnation? If rebirth is on karma and you can devolve anywhere, and reincarnation is only to be born again in a human, that's another explanation. What about soul and what about spirit? Where do they fit in? The spirit of a person. Then should not the person who is reincarnated be similar in mannerisms to the person whose body they're replacing? But that also is not the case. Few people remember their past life. Few. So can it be assumed that only those people have been reincarnated, but the millions and millions of others have not because they cannot remember the past lives? That has also not been explained. Then we look at the population of India, for instance. The Indian population is increasing every year, which by logic would mean that there are more people being born again than they're dying. That's the reason the population is increasing and has been increasing steadily for the last goodness knows time. They've been increasing. So if the population of India is increasing every year, how is that possible? What about the people who died in India? If they've taken rebirth, then why is the population increasing? And why do we say, or we are told that Atma Bhatak rahi hai? That means the certain spirits or souls which have not taken rebirth or have not been reincarnated in another body. But why is the population increasing? That means there is an anomaly in this. Then we had a author in United States of America, Walter Semke. He had done a study on various people, various personalities all over the world. And his theory was that there is reincarnation and certain people have been reincarnated, and he's given illustrations of lots of families, lots of people. For instance, he says that Amitabh Bachchan and his family are the reincarnation of Edwin Booth, who's a very old film actor in America. Edwin Booth. So not only is Amitabh Bachchan the reincarnation of Edwin Booth, but his son Abhishek is also the reincarnation of Edwin Booth's son, who died at a young age. And then he goes on to say that Amitabh Bachchan was married to Rekha in his past life. The entire Bachchan family is reincarnated on the Edwin Booth family. Then he draws a parallel between Sharukh Khan, who Mr. Semke says is the reincarnation of Shaduna Bose, the Bengali actress who is married to Madhu Bose, who, as it so happens, is my grand aunt. She is my maternal grandmother's younger sister, Shaduna Bose. But strangely, when Shahrukh Khan was born, Shaduna Bose was still alive. So, according to Mr. Semke, reincarnation can happen even when the person is still alive. So that means the soul has been split in two. One soul subsists in the person's living body, and the other has taken the body of another person. So Shahrukh Khan was about 8 or 9 years old when Shaduna Bose died. So for 8 or 9 years, Shaduna Bose's soul, according to Mr. Semke, was in Shahrukh Khan's body, which might have given certain mannerisms or features which Mr. Semke thinks are common and on which he bases his value judgment. So by that analogy, Shahrukh Khan would become my grand aunt if he is the reincarnation of Shaduna Bose. Now, there's so many contradictions, and these contradictions, when you evaluate them in your mind, gives a bit of a jolt because there's nothing consistent about it. The only thing consistent is that it's a belief. So what I believe, you may not, and what you do not believe, someone else may believe. So someone asked Sadhguru this question. I heard his answer, and he said that there are certain things you don't know because there is a God up there who has done a lot of things. He's created a lot of things. The creation of this world, this flower, this nature, these trees, is been created by someone else. We have not created these trees. So there is someone sitting upstairs who's doing these things. And according to Sadhguru, what you do not understand, you should forget trying to understand it. It is beyond our understanding. So just do not understand it, just accept it. But what he is also saying is that if you do not understand it and someone's told you, accept that as the truth. But why? Because there is no explanation. I've just given various contradictions of that particular theory of belief, which may not necessarily mean that there is reincarnation or rebirth. It could be just someone's mind which is going in that direction. There is no proof. A lot of people think about it. A lot of people don't. Believe what you will, go for it.